Hello and welcome to the first episode of the SC Playbook AFL podcast. We're in studio for the first time in 2026. It's the second episode of the year. My name is Dylan Bolch, and joining me today, two of the best in the business. On the right, we've got Stevie Niko, coach of the 2021 runner-up side, Lovesky FC. Niko, how are you?
Hello, Dylan. This is a bit fancy, isn't it? Like, comfy couch, like lighting, proper mics, the works. It's really cool.
Yep, it's an upgrade on the corded headphones, that's for sure. And I'm also joined by the SC Bandit. Bandit, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Feels like we're out of 2D into 3D. It's cool, yeah. The first time we've done an in-person recording, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Yep, all happening. Couple of things to start before we do jump into things. Our website is firing once more, scplaybook.com.au. Heaps of club-by-club previews. I think we're up to Hawthorn today, so churning through those. Nico had an article the other week, his secrets to success. That was a nice little gem. And then Harry West as well from Quantium Data wrote a really nice article about finding value in the early buys, which I thought was really interesting. The contrast, I guess, between comparing your premiums, so you guys like Nazaya, Errol Gould and these guys, and then your mid-prices like your Nick Newman types. If you haven't checked that out, definitely worth.
He's a gun, Harry. He's doing some good work in the EPL space as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, does all the work for you so you don't have to think about it, which I loved. That was nice for the train ride in. A couple of other things. We've got the Discord up and running too. I still don't get it 100% yet. These guys keep taking the mickey out of me, but there's a heap of different resources there, and that's where we go for our weekly Q&A too. So that's firing on all cylinders, and for just $2 a week, subscribe to scplaybook.com.au, and that gets you the full suite of sports. So the AFL, the NRL, EPL, NBA, it's all firing. So get involved. Now, let's get into the proper stuff. Today we're going to talk about the mid-prices a little bit more. We'll start, I reckon, from the back line and work our way down. We touched on this a little bit last week, but let's go into depth a little bit more now. Bandit, we'll start with you. First guy, Colby McKetcher. I think he's the clear number one mid-pricer. Agree?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think he's got some real scope for growth this year. I think we obviously covered him a little bit in the podcast last week, but looking back to kind of North's overall scoring from last year, you had Tristan Sherry and Harry Sheasel at the top, both averaging really big numbers, and then quite a steep drop off really to the rest of the guys, and they were guys like Caleb Daniel, Luke Parker, LDU, who probably had a bit of a down year compared to what he has been producing in the years prior to that. So, yeah, I think there's a space where he can really elevate and potentially average that 95 to 100 mark, and that is probably bordering on being a keeper, but probably enough for him to really justify being a starting pick. And looks like he's going to get that half back role at North as well. Doesn't look like they're going to throw him into the guts too much, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see once the practice matches get into full swing. But yeah, I'm keen on him. Yeah,
Nico, I was a little bit of a negative Nancy when it came to McKercher, but I looked at the numbers, and from round 13 onwards last year, he averaged 103.2. That's like genuine top 6, top 8 defender areas, isn't it?
It is. Look, no doubting is a good pick, but I think there still comes quite a bit of risk in the pick as well. And that's more just around roll risk, I think. So who knows, like what North have done in the past is just chop and change so much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does Sheasel go back for a couple of games or something and knock him onto the wing or whatever, or do they trial him into the middle, which they have done as well, and Bandit spoke about. But yeah, look, I think there's still a few negatives there. I'm sort of leaning maybe towards someone just a little bit more expensive than him at the moment, but look, no doubting the pick and the quality of the pick, really.
Yeah. Stick with us as well, because Nico will be revealing his first team as well later on in the podcast, so keep an eye on that. Bandit, the next name I had on my list, Caden Coleman, was a star in the 2023 final series. I think he was second or third in the Norm Smith medal voting that day. 233 grand. If he's there round one, do you pick him?
It's cheap, isn't it? Cheap for a guy that we know is probably one of the players that Brisbane like to get the ball in the hands of most at halfback. Really creative ball user, uses it very well. So, yeah, he's an interesting one to keep tabs on, but we know over the last couple of years how much he struggled with injury, hasn't been able to get his body right. The big question mark is how does he come back up to speed? Like, he's obviously had a full preseason, hasn't had any interruptions to this point, but it's a very different beast going into round 0, round 1. How quickly can he get up to speed with that? And with the extra player on the bench now for AFL, it's a question of, do they potentially manage his minutes a little bit? They won't be able to make him the sub, so do they just kind of ease him back into things, or do they just throw him straight back in? So that's probably the main question mark for me. But I mean, if he's there in round 0, he's probably an auto pick, I think.
Yeah. Nico, if you're like I'm thinking of my setup at the moment. I've got 3 premiums and then the rest are rookies. I don't have a mid-pricer in there at the moment.
Yep.
Is it too thin to run Coleman at D3?
I think it probably is. Yeah, I think you need 3 guys. I think the gap between like the proper primos in that line to the B grade sort of options is pretty big. So I think a few guys are there and attainable sort of at their starting prices. So I'd be leaning to go to a 3 structure in defence to start with premium wise. And I think, and then if you want to go kitty at D4, there's no issues, I think, with that one. So obviously no news is good news with him. I haven't really seen much sort of in the paper about him. Normally we hear about, guys burning up the track and all that kind of nonsense. But yeah, we'll see. If he's playing, we get a free look as well. So we'll know sort of if his price is going to be going up and if his role looks good and all that kind of stuff with round 0.
Yeah. What does he need to score in that opening round game for us to pick him or not?
I think it's probably more just the role, to be honest. But if he puts out a 70 plus, I think that's probably good enough just to go, right, no problem. He'll improve from here on.
Charlie's boy, Archie Roberts. Can you go there?
Shout out to Chief. I don't know. The noise coming out of Essendon has been thrown into the mid, so I'm not sure that's the role that we really want to see him in, to be honest. I'd rather see him at half back, but I mean, he might get squeezed out with, they've got Mason Redmond back there, Jordan Ridley, we didn't see much of last year, so he's going to come back into the mix as well. Where does that leave him in terms of ball distributor position? I'm not sure. So I was looking at him as an option alongside McKercher, but I think you probably can only pick one of those guys, and I think McKercher's probably got a bit more upside in that role than Roberts.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when I saw that Roberts news because he was a Sandy Dragon back in the day, so tracked him pretty closely, but it was all half back as a junior and then a little bit of wing as well as sort of a secondary position. So when I saw that he had a few inside mid minutes, it was a bit of a surprise, but I guess he's different to what they've got from your Durhams, your Caldwells, your Merritts, even Dyson Sharp's a bit of a big body midfielder too. Setterfield's another guy in the mix. So there's
just too much unknown, I think, with him. Like, you just don't know how well he's going to score if he's playing that mid-roll. And it's not like we saw it for the last 6 rounds of last year or saw it like in a finals campaign or something that doesn't count towards, his price and average. But you're going in a bit blind, I think, to pick him.
Yep. Miles Bergman, Niko, you're big on him. I don't like that there's no clear role there just yet.
Yeah, definite role risk with him as well. Is he going to play half back or is he going to play in the mids? What's that percentage going to look like for CBA attendance? It is a question. He has performed well in that role. We've seen him do it. So, no issues if you're confident in the pick and want to go there. As Bandit said, you probably kind of want one of these guys in that sort of price range, and Colby probably is, I think, of a bit better selection with maybe a bit of a higher ceiling as well.
Yeah. Bandit, the thing that worries me a little bit about the Bergman pick is that you've got Zach Butters is there, obviously. Rosie, we think, will start more half-back, but he'll probably spit through at different stages. Horn Francis, Niko's in there. Ollie Wines will miss the start of the season, but he's another guy too.
Yep.
Is there a chance that we see Bergman play a couple of games without Wines and perform reasonably well, and then that role changes come round 3 or 4?
It's a lot of mouths to feed, isn't it? When you look at their midfield, I mean, their midfield is probably one of the most stacked in the competition, and that's just looking at Butters, Rosé, and Horn Francis. I mean, not many teams have 3 proper A-graders spinning through there.
Another one that is not an A-grader.
Drew's another one who's pretty experienced, and they will lean on him a lot in there. So, it's just, Port have got a few question marks for me just with the new coach. Be interesting to see how he's spinning the magnets. All reports are that Bergman has been training in the mids over the pre-season, but Horn Francis has kind of sat out of a lot of that sort of stuff to this point, so he's got to come back in at some stage, and as you mentioned, Ollie Wines as well.
Yeah.
There's probably a few question marks that probably push me more towards McKercher in that space.
I mean, the positive is their fixture run is really, really good to start the year as well, so you could see potentially some decent scoring from him to start with as well. But I do think him and Rosie are probably going to alternate a little bit in their roles, and it might, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but not a bad shout, but not completely sold.
I like him as a draft play.
Yeah.
So I think he's a really good draft play. Bandit Nick Newman didn't play a match sim the other week at Carlton. Feels like an 85 average maybe. Miss a couple of games. I liked him more a fortnight ago than I do now, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree. There's probably a few question marks with Carlton as well. I mean, he's probably the player they do need at halfback. I think he's the kind of player they were missing last year. Really good distributor, uses it well by foot. But, I think the fact that they're still managing him to this point in the preseason after he had such a torrid run of it last year, I think suggests to me that they're still perhaps a little bit concerned about how he's tracking. So yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I did like him as an option when the sort of team picker first opened and thought, oh, this could be the value play for 2026. But yeah, I think I'd like to actually see some games out of him first before we kind of stamp that one.
Yeah.
No spring chicken either.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder how much.
33, I think. So yeah, he's not getting any younger.
When does Voss draw the line and go, we're going to give Jack Binns off the list, but these guys, Lachie Cowan,
the Campriali boys as well.
Ollie Hollands,
where do they play? Yep.
When do you sort of go, Newman might be the guy now, but he's not going to be the guy in 5 years' time that's hand the reins over. Last one for the defenders, Niko. This is a Charlie request again. Caleb Windsor. I think he's about 260 grand. I didn't even think about him when we were compiling this list. Chief reckons he's going to play midfield with all these injuries to the Melbourne on-ballers. I can't see it as a classic option at all.
No, I'm not really a fan, mate. I don't think either. So look, he's averaged. I know in a not as good role, but he's averaged 50 and 50. He's really big on the third year breakouts. Our boy Charlie, but I don't know. I think a lot would have to go right for him to even sort of be averaging about 75, 80.
Yeah.
So pass for me. I think
he's still pretty lightly framed. I don't think he's a great ball user either, which makes things hard. I think we can probably put him right down the watch list. Let's move on to the midfield. Bandit, Hayden Young, I think he's the clear number one. I think he's actually the best mid-pricer in the game. We know he's got the scoring history. He's actually quite durable last year aside to all systems go with Young.
Yeah, if you like him, no reason why you can't pick him. He's not in my team at the moment, just with the structure I'm rolling with, I can't quite squeeze him in. But yeah, I mean, as you said, he's clearly the value play for this year. If he gets the first 7 or 8 games out of the way, should make you 200k pretty easily and be a good stepping stone up to a genuine primo come the bye rounds. And Fremantle actually have a very friendly bye run anyway. They don't have one of those early bye rounds, and then I think Everton, their bye's around 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they don't. I think they're only one of 2 teams on that bye from memory in that round. So good fixture player if you're looking that way. But yeah, just not for me at this stage with the structure I've got.
I think give it a practice match and Bandit will be restructuring his side and get
probably.
him in.
Probably. I mean, very open to picking him, but don't have him in there at the moment. Just trying to get as many primos in there as I can.
Yeah. Niko, are you worried about the amount of mouths they've got to feed in that Fremantle midfield? So we've got Brayshaw and Sarong, who are, they're A-graders. Luke Jackson supposedly spending more time in there. Matthew Johnson's a guy on the fringes of the midfield group. Is it?
Yeah.
I saw Young play deep forward the other week. Like, is that... I think Fremantle are a better side for him in the midfield where he's having maximum impact, but he can go to half back. He can go and sit at half forward too.
Yep.
Do you think he's a midfielder and that's where he'll play and that's where he'll play the whole year? Or do you think there's a potential that he plays elsewhere?
Look, I think there is a potential that he might, end up on a wing for certain, parts of the game.
Yeah.
At his price though, I still think he's a pretty nailed selection, to be honest. You look at their finals, campaign and sort of the CBAs he had in especially their last final, like it goes to show sort of, a must-win game. Like this is our best team and he's right there in the middle. So I think he's a great pick. No issues with him at all.
Yeah, I like it. Darcy Parish, I'm waiting for the pre-season injury report where we say, he's hurt a calf and he's going to miss a couple of weeks. It hasn't come yet.
It's a scary pick, isn't it? This is like guys that average 116 Supercoach don't come around very often. They're a rare breed, but he's had a lot of injury issues over the last couple of years, and he's a long way from that player that we kind of saw, dominate Anzac Day games, winning Anzac Day medals and stuff like that.
That was a crazy year where he just won every medal.
Yeah, he just went bananas. Like just had a year out of the box really, and just hasn't been able to get back to that level. They've left no stone unturned trying to get his body right over the pre-season and sent him to America, I think, from memory, to try and get to the bottom of it. But yeah, you cannot pull the trigger on him just yet until he's actually got through a practice game and he's there for round 1, because if you're picking him and Hayden Young in the same team, you've got big stones. Yeah, that's very, very risky strategy.
Yeah. Speaking of Melbourne, Harvey Langford's another one that could pick up that slack that I think Jack Viney's out for the first half of the year, sort of came out late last week.
Hurt his back and he's had Achilles problems as well.
Petrarca and Oliver are obviously out the door. Could you pick Langford at a similar price point?
I think you'd have to see a lot in the preseason pracky matches to go there. I think. What's he at? Like 250?
I think he's about. I think he's like 380.
Yeah, I think if he was 50 or 100k cheaper, I might be interested.
Yeah, 380.
Good draft option. Great draft option if you play that way. But yeah, I'll probably question his ceiling. Like realistically, he's probably going to have to average 95 or 100 to like get you to the buys, and I'm just not sure he's going to do that. Like I think the D's going to struggle.
Yeah,
like they're already missing Viney for the first half of the year. Like it's really Jack Steele, Cosy
man.
Pickett, and a bunch of rookies like
Max Gorn's going to have to do a hell of
and then there's a question of does that reduced midfield quality impact Gorn's ability to score as well? Like we know that he's such a good intercept player, takes a lot of contested marks and that sort of stuff, but he's going to have a significantly reduced quality brigade at his feet to contest hit outs and stuff like that. So that's probably a question mark on Gorn as well.
Yeah. Bandit Tanner Bruin was the last name I had here.
Yeah.
It feels like we obviously haven't seen him for the best part of 12, 18 months. I just don't know how he fits into that midfield group right now. Like they've got Holmes is obviously an A-grader, Bailey Smith's an A-grader. They've just recruited Warple, Tom Atkins is there. A couple of other young guys are sort of pushing their cases too. It feels like there's just too much happening there, and that's far too speculative a pick, I would have thought.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just a case of like they've got a bunch of those guys like Bruin, Jai Clark's another one. Like just sort of guys that you would, as a Geelong fan, you would probably hope would have come on by now, but just kind of really haven't. Bruin's obviously had his other issues off the field, which are well documented. But yeah, like you said, I'm just not sure where the role is for him. It definitely won't be starting mid with the guys they've got in there at the moment with Holmes, Smith, and Warple. You would think would be their starting three for most games. So yeah, not for me.
Yeah, he hasn't played any footy.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think
he's had no footy for 12 months.
Just to get out on the park would be a start for him. So.
And Geelong are one of those teams that are in such a good position list-wise and on field that they can afford to have him play, a couple of months in the twos and then pick him mid-year.
Yep.
Forwards, I said last week I think Sam Fland is the biggest lock in Supercoach history. Any qualms with that one?
I'm not sure he's the biggest lock I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
I don't. We've spoken about in those terms before, and things are backfired.
I think Nick Dacos' rookie year would have been the biggest lock. I reckon of the last probably 5 or 6 years. He would have been. I'm not sure what the ownership stats would have been, but he would have been in just about every serious team, I reckon, over that time. But I mean, he's got the upside, doesn't he, with the role he's coming into at the Saints. They've been crying out for a bit more speed through the midfield. That he wasn't getting mid-time at the Gold Coast. That was, I think, the big reason why the Saints kind of went to him and said, "Hey, we'll give you." A starting midfield spot. So, I mean, he's risk-free pick, really.
Oh, look, what was it, 2 years ago where he nearly went the whole year, 100 plus? We know what he can do. Yeah, his quality just needs to get the opportunity to show us his best footy.
We spoke about Adam Treloar last week at, I think he's 311 grand. Give us a quick summary on why he's a good pick at that price.
Pedigree, I guess. We've seen it from him before. I think 2 years ago we spoke about he averaged 111 or something.
116 I think
16,
off 20 something games. Didn't miss a game really.
Yeah, exactly. And look, from all reports, he's had a pretty good preseason. He's just had one little setback now, which they're calling a minor hamstring. Of the lowest end that you can get. So, look. For me, a big part of my preseason has been not overreacting to news. Like in the last couple of years, it's just been I'll read something or I hear something and it's like bang straight out of my team. And look, if he's out there in the practice match, the first one, and he's looking all right and he's moving well, I think he's in my team as a forward.
Yeah, we had the Nick Dacos tweets going around today about the strapping on the calf. It was great.
It was great.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So don't overreact to the bits that you see at this time of year. I think journalists are sort of trying to find things to talk about. We've got Origin in a week, so hanging out for that. But don't get too hung up on those sort of little tidbits. Bandit Jamara Ugle-Hagan, we've all seen the social media clips of him, laying crunching tackles in the forward pocket, and it looks like he's in pretty decent shape. I'm pretty adamant that he's not going to be there round one or opening round. I think they're going to run with Ben King, Jed Walton, Ethan Reid as the three to start with, and then give Jamara a month or so to get into his work. If he's named though, does he become a must-have?
Not sure about a must-have. I think we all saw the clip of him. What was it, chasing down Matt Rowell at one stage through the preseason? So he must be going all right.
Yeah.
To be fair to him, like you must be in decent nick if you can do that to the reigning Brownlow medalist. But yeah, as you said, I think there's got to be a pecking order to key forwards. I think, and you guys coming in probably start at the bottom of that. You got to work your way through the twos and really push your case there. So yeah, I'd be surprised if he's there round one. If he is there, I'll certainly look at him, but probably the ceiling is the question with him. You know, he hasn't. I think his biggest average across the season was 62 or something like that, and that might have been his rookie year or 2024 potentially. So yeah, I couldn't pick him at the moment based on what we've seen so far. It needs to be named round one.
He's got to put together a decent block of footy first. You think if I was a coach, I'd want to see a decent block of footy from him, and
he's coming from a long way back.
So he's not in my team at the moment. He's on the watch list, but
there's a lot of people on the watch list this time of year, isn't there? Sammy Lawler, Niko, I just don't love the pick at all. Like I
just
can't
under
see,
300k.
Yeah, I just can't see a world where he becomes even a 90 guy. I think he is Richmond's prized possession. I think they'll manage him throughout the year. Where he might play a month as a full-time mid, then he'll go and sit in a forward pocket for a couple of fortnights and sort of struggle.
I think a lot of that came out from Tim Taranto, I think, saying that, he's been training really well. I was going to say it.
Classic pre-season adage.
I know, I pulled away from saying it. But he's training really well and, potentially has, some midfield time as well. And I think that's sort of where this has all sort of started from and people have started selecting him in their teams. But I've never really considered him, to be honest.
Yeah. Ben, how much stock do you put into teammates sort of pumping up their own teammates, if that makes sense? So a Taranto pumping up a Lawler top, but someone from Sydney was pumping up Angus Sheldrick earlier this week as well. How much do you look into that and go, maybe that makes them Supercoach relevant, or is it just a case of, your mates trying to give you a bit of a pep talk in the media?
Probably looking for fines for Footy Trip, I reckon. If you can get a decent mention in the paper or something, you'd be contributing to the end of season Footy Trip. Yeah. So yeah, look, I wouldn't put too much stock in that, to be honest. I mean, this is a guy who's going to be in his second year this year, but he only played 11 games last year. He had some really bad hammy issues. Richmond got a bit of a history of that now with Josh Smiley, who we haven't seen debut at AFL level yet either. He's had some issues on that front as well with soft tissue. So yeah, I think I'd be very cautious with Sam Layler. He will be a player that we have in our teams for a long period of time, but I would be more interested in him next year. I think if he can get through a full season now, get through another pre-season, really strip that body down a bit. Like you could see last year, he was carrying a bit of puppy fat, I think, just from being a young guy coming through TAC Cup, where he could probably play a little bit heavier, but he's still working through stripping some of that back, building his body up to be ready for AFL level and be a really established midfielder. So yeah, not for me this year.
Yeah. Andrew McQualter said last week that Harley Reid's the guy that's gone from potential to execution. That might not have been the word he used, but he's going to become a regular performer is the summation of what he said. Do you pick Harley?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think maybe if he's blowing the doors down, he's had two really big, 130 plus scores or something, and you've got someone who's underperforming, you might make that move at round 3 or something. But yeah, I'd still like to see, him not giving away free kicks and all that kind of stuff, and him, actually, just not mucking around so much on the field and just being a bit of an idiot. And it's just, obviously he copped so much attention over there, and maybe that got to him, in the first couple of years. But hopefully he gets it right and concentrates, more on the stuff that's important. That's, winning the footy and hitting a teammate or kicking a goal. So, yeah.
Yeah, serious football. I don't think anyone can question his talent. But for me, from a Supercoach point of view, it's how many tricks does he have? Yeah. At the moment, he's very much an impact player. Like we saw that goal that he kicked against the D's, where he took 3 bounces out of centre square, kicked the goal from 50. Is that the player he's going to be? Forever and a day, is he going to be a Cam Rain, a Jordan De Goey type who can play through the midfield, but he's just going to do it in bursts, or is he going to be, more of a John Newcombe type, for example, who is that in and under player, but also an accumulator. Realistically, the best Supercoach players in the mids regularly rack up 25, 30 touches a game. Is he going to be able to do that? Is he going to be able to build the tank enough to do that? And West Coast have said that he's started to do that. He's really taken his professionalism to another level so far this pre-season. But again, he's playing against his teammates, and his teammates aren't very good. So there's a question there, I think, about does he have the tricks at the moment to really elevate himself? And
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening this year.
Yeah, it just feels like he's been too focused on getting that fend off and getting that on the back page of the paper or that kind of thing. So
Yeah, he was one out in the mids last year. To be honest, like with no Elliot Yeo, I think he really benefited from that in his first year, having Yeo there, like a senior body who could kind of protect him a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously with Yeo not being there last year, like you said, it was almost like he was trying to do a bit too much because he felt like he was the guy and he just had to do it.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
What's the go with Yeo? Has anyone heard anything around him?
I think he's okay from all reports. I haven't heard that he's had another setback.
No news is good news,
Yeah.
probably.
I still feel like they're thin through the midfield group, and
Yeah, absolutely.
when that's the case, everyone focuses on Harley. He's a second, third year player. Like it's a tough gig to have.
Taggable.
In a club that's won less than 10 games in 3 years, sort of thing. So yeah, a pass for me, maybe a bit of a draft flyer if you're into that. Bandit Charlie Kerno, we mentioned briefly last week. I don't mind it at the price point, but it just feels like there's better options. Draft play, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the list that we've kind of gone through so far. Flanders, Treloar, Harley Reid. If you like him, there's a lot of guys at that similar price point, and the reality is they're probably not all gonna play out the way that we think that they will in an ideal world. So, yeah, I think he's a great pick for draft again. Like he's probably one who could pop up an average 90 across the course of a season. You'll get some big spikes and troughs in that. That's just the nature of a key forward. But yeah, I think new environment will be great for him. Swans should jump a little bit, I think, this year. I think everyone expects them to be back in the finals mix and pushing for a top 4 spot. So I think, and that will largely depend on how he performs as their main guy up forward. So yeah, it's all there for him. He just needs to go back and do it.
You can just picture him taking a mark on the flank of the SCG and just going around and kicking one from 60.
Real buddy 2014, 15, 16 when he was his peak at the Swans. That sort of stuff. That's the player they want him to be, I think.
I think we'll be talking about him a lot come Supercoach finals as well. The Swans have a really nice run home, and I think he's the sort of guy that could plug and play in a flex spot, could turn out a 150 and win you a head-to-head matchup. A couple of other names that I think are passes: Joshua Shelley, Jordan DeGoey.
I'm not sold on Rochelle and the midfield stuff. Their injuries have been more in defence as well. Rankin's got to come in at round 2. So, I don't really buy into that kind of stuff. DeGoey, I mean, he had one good final last year and then came out and had like 40-odd in the prelim. So, I think he's just a bit too up and down to go for him, unless you want to pop him in your flex and just, see how you go. But I don't think,
there's not a lot of upside there with DeGoey in terms of like there's no role change. There's not a lot of signs pointing to a massive spike either, I don't think. Pass, I think.
Yep, agreed.
Bandit, of all these mid prices, how many can you realistically start? I think they've all got a case to start with, but how many do you think you can actually pick and be confident going into the season?
Yeah, it's tough. Personally, I wouldn't want to start any more than 2 or 3. 3, I reckon, is max.
Yeah.
Ideally 2. Like for me, I've got McKercher at the moment. Could easily squeeze Young in there at one stage as well. That would just about do me, I reckon.
Yeah. And Flanders, I'm assuming.
And Flanders as well. Yeah, I think Flanders is pretty much a lock for all of us. So not sort of factoring him into this discussion, but of the rest of them that we've kind of talked about, of the guys that are over 300k, I think Coleman's a separate discussion, given that he could be a D4 player. I think McKercher could start at D3 pretty comfortably. And Young can be a flex player or a D4, M4 or M5 player potentially, depending on how bad you're deep in that line. So that's probably the way I'm leaning. I think any more than that, like you're just opening yourself up for way too many corrective trades early on, and we always say that we don't want to trade early, but starting all these guys just kind of tempts fate a bit, I think, and you end up in a tough spot if it goes wrong.
You're talking about risk profile. Like the more risky options you take, the more chance you've got of getting in trouble. So I think Bandit's going to have fun dissecting my team, because I did a quick count. I think there might be 5 in there. So 4 or 5 of them. So.
Wow, I've got 3.
I counted Flanders in that though. So.
So I've got Flanders. I've got Flanders, Treloar, and Young at the moment, and that's it. Speaking of dissecting teams, should we pick apart the 2021 runners-up, Bandit?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's rip in.
All right, let's do it, Nico. Let's start from the back line.
Alrighty.
And we'll go from there.
All right, D1 at the moment for me, Lachie Whitfield on the
Yeah.
Giants. I like that, he's going to be the main sort of designated kicker, kick-outs. When the ball goes out of bounds and they get the ball, he'll probably be the one, kicking it or getting the ball as well. Yeah, I just think he's going to be rock solid, so I'm happy there. But I'm not going to go through and sort of give my reasoning for each pick. But I think with him, he's a little bit speculative, but
Yeah. I mean, if you take out I think he had the game where he got like 16 or something. I think he got hurt early, got subbed out.
Yeah.
If you take out that game, he was the highest averaging forward for the year last year. Would be more expensive than Nazar if that game wasn't sort of factored in. So yeah, I think he's a good pick.
Yeah. Rosie at D2.
Yeah, no brainer. I think we don't have to.
Yeah. Nick Blakey at D3 at the moment.
Wow.
Early buy.
I like this.
Early buy.
I like it.
So
You mentioned this last week, and I thought, this is where we're getting into the weeds a little bit, aren't we, Bandit?
No, I think there's some potential there. I think you're onto something. Nick. The early buy is very annoying. I mean, that's where the buys have kind of messed us around a bit. Where if we didn't have buys in years gone by, he'd almost be like the McKercher type, where you're like, I reckon he can spike and have a really good year. But he had a really good finish to the year when Mills came back into the team. He was
round 13.
He was really up and about.
Averaged 114, and that was with a 60 odd with Matty Roberts in the team as well. So
do you think Roberts isn't in the best 23?
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, I think if he does play, he's probably going to be further up on the wing, away from kickouts and sort of that rebounding role.
Yep. Swans have said that they do want to play a bit quicker this year as well and really utilise the speed they've got with guys like Goulden and Blakey. I think that, like you said, plays perfectly into his hands. So, yeah, he's a big watch.
What's that? Do we know the ownership of Blakey at the moment?
If I click on him, it should pop up, hopefully. No, it doesn't tell me. I'll have to go into the trades. So D4 Kitty Coleman at the moment. So I think that's okay. I've got Uland from the Gold Coast.
Yep. Well, I think he plays round one easy.
Yep. And should score okay, I think, as well.
I don't think he'll shoot the lights out, but 70, 75, I think he's well and truly on the cards. And I think he's the sort of guy you could field each week confidently. A few of the others might be up and down, but yeah, I'm big on Uland. Just on, before you continue, Blakey's at 1.4% ownership. So
really
big pod
Huge
play there.
pod.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huge
That's
pod.
crazy. Josh Lindsay, I've got on field at the moment. I don't know if he's going to play round one. So there's been a few sort of whispers that maybe he's not, definitely in.
Yep.
I did actually meet his old man on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
funnily enough, he somehow
Good
recognised my
sources.
voice and was like, "Yeah, do I know you?" Kind of
SC
thing.
Playbook has
He's
reach.
listened. Yeah,
We've
he's
got
listened
reach
to,
into the
podcast
AFL spectrum.
in the past. I know,
Love it.
amazing. So yeah, had a good chat about his son and sort of where he might land and that kind of thing. So hopefully had a good day at Movie World. He's on there.
Such a good kick though, Josh Lindsay.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was the best kick in the draft last year.
That's kind of what they need, don't they?
Yeah.
Really. So I mean, that's
They need some ball users.
obviously why he was recruited there. But yeah, hopefully we get to see it early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little SC Playbook scoop. Nico's coming in hot with the good oil. Lock him in.
Better than Chiefs mail that
Yeah.
give it 48 hours and it.
No, we won't talk about Chiefs.
Gibgus and Sarong round out
Yep.
sort of the defensive line. I think both those guys should be okay.
Yeah, good job security.
Yeah, just injury concern obviously is the only thing with them.
Yep.
Moving into the mids, I've got Zach Butters as my M1.
Yep.
I don't think we have to talk too much about him. Obviously, role, ceiling, and fixture are all there. So
And
perfect.
contract year, so he'll want to add a few bucks to his deal, I'm sure.
Andy Brayshaw, I've got at M2. Hot start to the season last year.
Yep.
Obviously, most of us went Sarong and watched that sort of losing 20, 30 points every
Don't
week.
remind me. Yeah.
Which was
a genuine 50-50 last year.
Yeah,
too.
it was.
It was. Yeah.
And Andy was actually cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well to start the year. Finn Callahan, I've got at.
We've got the same three starting mids
Do
at
we
the
really?
moment. Yeah.
Okay.
I must be onto
So-
something. that makes me feel safe. That
I
is
like
safety.
Finn. I think he's going to give me really good coverage through the buys. Obviously, they've got the round 13 buy
Yep.
with only one other side. And so he's going to be playing for me round 12, 14, 15.
So you're not worried about the
16?
early buy?
With the quality of the rookies,
Yep.
I'm not overly concerned.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, so I think, we'll touch on rookies, I guess, a bit more, in upcoming episodes and when we see, them actually in the flesh. But I feel like they've all got, decent scoring potential
Yep.
this year. So I don't think, with the best 18, I don't think it's going to be too bad missing one or two primos in the early buys. So, yep.
Okay, so before you move on, you've gone Callahan with an early buy over the likes of your boy Nick Dacos, Errol Goulden is another one I know you've spoken about. Why Callahan over some of those other guys that similar price point, similar average, and have an early buy?
I think Finn Callahan feels like one of those guys you sort of always watch and never really select. So, I feel like if you just get him at the start and just enjoy the ride, hopefully, I don't know what his ownership looks like. You might be looking that up now, Dill, but I think just the way Footy or the way AFL want Footy to move this year with more of a transitional game rather than a stoppage game, I think that's just going to suit him down to a T. So
he's elite in transition, like that when the Giants are running with their orange tsunami. He's front and center to that.
Yeah, hits a scoreboard. Like, he does everything you want, Supercoach wise. So, I just feel like he's going to be a really fun pick and someone who, as long as you hold through, potentially one or two bad games, just hold him through the whole year and just hopefully, he's going at 115 at the end of the year.
Yeah, he's got a massive ceiling.
Yeah.
The ceiling is what really appeals to me, and I'm sure to you as well. But I think he's one guy who could, average north of 115 this year if everything goes right for him.
As well.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
he'll play pretty much every minute of the match.
No Josh Kelly as well. Like, it's really him and Tom Green in the Giants midfield this year, I think.
And a bit more grunt in the midfield
winners.
as well to actually get the ball out to him as well with Clary there and as well. So
he's in 14% of teams at the moment. I've got some stats from last year. He started a bit slow. Remember, everyone started him.
Yeah, a few people got rid of him.
Averaged 118.7 in his last 15. So that's a pretty decent sample size. I haven't just plucked a month out there. And a low score of 94. Yeah. So
tells you what you need to know. He's really ready to do that across a full season now, I think.
Do you worry at all about a tag?
Well,
I kind of can't remember too many times he was given a hard tag last year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've got so many good players that, who knows where the tag's going to
Could be on Whitfield, it could be on Ash.
Yeah.
I reckon he's good enough to work through it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he's that sort of player, that transitional player who can start on the inside and then as soon as the ball's out of stoppage, he's gone.
Yep.
And they're the sort of players that you do struggle to tag, a bit like Nick Dacos, another one who we've seen lots of teams try and do it with, but very much easier to say it in theory than it is to put it into practice.
Yeah. So we've got Butters, Brayshaw, Callahan.
Yep. I've got Young at M4.
Mm-hmm.
Will Dersma.
Yep. Looks like he'll play on a wing, I think, is the early.
Is it? Yeah,
early
that's
signs.
not ideal.
Yeah.
Especially when you're paying over 200 for a rookie.
And playing for West Coast.
Yeah.
That's the other big question mark.
Yeah.
I think that's
we'll
a
see
watch.
How he goes.
Watch pre-season games. Job security would be great, though. He'll play every game if his body holds up.
Someone with another sort of role risk is Daniel Annable.
Annable, at the Lions.
At the Lions, yeah.
I think he plays half forward. I think he'll play that Ashcroft role last year, and he's the sort of guy in juniors that had 30 every week, hits the scoreboard. He actually worked really hard to improve other aspects of his game. So he had been that contested ball inside midfielder, shoveling out handballs throughout his juniors, but really worked on that transitional stuff. I think he could be a 75 average plug and play each week. I don't think he'll be a knockout pick given the other talents they have in the midfield, but for 180 grand, I think that's a pretty safe bet. And it looks as though he's going to be there early.
I think I read last year that if he was available to play AFL, he would have been in the mix to play in their AFL team last year, which pretty much says all we need to know about how highly they rate him, and that was before he's done a pre-season with them. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a pretty big rap from the reigning premiers.
Dyson Sharp, who should get games at the Bombers.
Yeah, I thought he was a lock for round one, and I spoke to someone the other day, and they seemed to think that maybe not quite. Interesting. I think 140, 150k, you pick him. I think he's going to play.
He'll be thereabouts.
And you can always go down anyway. So if you've got someone at 150, a lot easier to go down as someone instead of trying to find 20k here and there.
And he'd be in 70% of teams, I think. So,
Speaking
no brainer.
Of high ownership would be Jagger Smith rounds out my my on-field selections.
That screams like M8 until post-buys.
He could be the biggest lock, I reckon, for the year, given the price he's at and the raps that he had on him before he did his knee at the start of last year. Yeah, he could be the big one that everyone needs to pick this year, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure.
Just quickly on the bench, we'll go through them. Will Brodie, I do have Josh Smiley if he gets himself right there, and Finlay McRae as well. So all like around that 120k mark. So I'm not putting guys in that are 99k and then trying to find money when they're not playing or whatever. So, yeah, flexibility. There as well.
Can I go a bit early here? So I'm looking at the names you mentioned. I don't think Smiley plays round one. I think McRae's real touch and go, and Brodie I think will play and then come out for Wines.
Yep.
Sid Draper's another one in the mix that people have.
Well, he's hurt himself again.
So you can probably
did a groin at training, I think, today. Yeah.
If we don't have those enough rookies, like that's 2 or 3 spots on the bench that I'm struggling to find other names to fill it. How much does that blow up our planning? Obviously, this is a discussion to probably have post community series, but like if I'm looking at this team now and round one was tomorrow, there's probably 2 or 3 guys that are in my midfield slot that aren't going to play or have really shaky job security. How much of a curveball would that be?
Let's not be too pessimistic. Yeah. All right. So they're all going to play round one, so it's all good.
I'll come back
to
that.
Let's touch base after we see a few games and. But look, it could be a concern, and we might have to actually spend up a bit more in the midfield and maybe go a bit more speculative and find 100 odd K to go to a parish if he's looking all right.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, Patrick Rechko, I think will play from Richmond on a wing. He was actually delisted by Geelong, and then
that's right. Yeah, you got traded for a packet of chips at the end of the trade period, and everyone's like, "Who is this bloke?"
Yeah.
No disrespect, Patrick, but
yeah, cool. Rucks?
I'm going set and forget.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a new ruck rules that we could touch on as well. We spoke a bit about the AFL not wanting to have as many stoppages as they do and more end-to-end footy. I've got Gawn and Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I've mucked around with my ruck line in the last couple of years.
Matt Flynn.
We all have. Let's be honest.
How good was that, Matt Flynn to Kieran Briggs? I don't even know who I went to next last
painful.
year. That was like.
And then Matt Flynn the year before, as well with GWS. He sucked us in a few times.
Oh mate, honestly, but it's probably going to be the year that someone comes out from the 200, 300, 400 price range and dominates. But I reckon maybe if Tim English didn't have an early buy, I'd probably consider him. But I'm just going to lean to going Gawn and Sherry. Both those guys have got sort of huge avenue to points. Obviously Sherry with his tackling ability and Gawn with his intercepting ability and hitting the scoreboard as well. So I think they're pretty safe picks. And
they're captaincy picks.
They're captaincy picks, and I've been just burnt in the ruck line too much, I think, in the last couple of years to fiddle around there. So I've got White at R3 at the moment from the D's, just to give them the option for a bit of a VC loop.
Yeah, a bit of a forward swing as well.
I did have the guy from
Carlton
Freo who went to Carlton.
Liam Reedy.
I think everyone's got him at the moment, but I don't know if he'll get a game.
Funny one. We were talking before about how many teams will actually play 2 genuine rucks. So whether he plays with Pettinet, who knows?
Yeah, but what's he going to get? Like, he'll get 50, won't he? Or
he's a second string guy to start with. Like, Pettinet's clearly number 1, I think, from a Carlton point of view. So, and as you said, Dill, like, I can't see many teams playing 2 genuine rucks. I think that'll just slow them down too much. Like, I think you want that 23rd player to be another midfielder. I think Darcy was there. I think him and Jackson. Him and Jackson played. I think early doors last year when he was at Freo.
Yeah, and he got like 30
and then Darcy came back in and took that spot from him. So it's an interesting one. Do you reckon?
Round 1 last year scored 34. 6 disposals, 2 tackles, 18 hit outs,
and then got dropped.
To be fair, I think that was against Geelong though, and they got absolutely pumped. So
but Geelong give away points to the
That's true. Yeah, that's also true. Do you reckon with Gawn Niko, like we touched on before, are you concerned about a
little bit
the mid depth there at the D's? Like they've cleaned house from last year. No Petrarca, no Oliver. It's going to be.
I just think
it'll be a learning year for a few of them, I suspect.
It will, but I think Max is kind of one of those guys who would probably relish that extra responsibility and just like, come on, boys, like,
get on my back.
Yeah, get on my back, and
which he's done
for the 200th time.
A little bit, but I think he's pretty safe still. Moving to the forwards, I got Sheasel. I don't think anyone's going to argue about that one. Petrarca I've got at F2, so obviously that's going to rely on how much midfield time he's getting in the early games. Their midfield is stacked. God, there was even talk of Will Powell getting midfield minutes the other day. I'm like, what is that about?
Well,
Yeah,
that's peak preseason chatter.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
assistant.
He will not see
assistant
a
coach.
minute in there
Yeah.
once the whips get cracking to start with.
Yeah, Josh. I think they put Josh Drummond up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep. Sam Flanders I've got in. Adam Treloar I've got at F4.
Yep.
Mateus Philippou and Todd Marshall.
I'm big on
rounds
Todd
out
Marshall.
The F6.
Yeah, that's giving Mitch McGovern from a few years back when I was hot. He would have averaged 95 that year if he didn't rip his hammy off the bone.
Yeah, obviously, if you don't know, he's going to be playing a defensive role and was even on kickouts in some sort of intra-club stuff.
Juicy,
as well,
juicy
so,
role.
yeah, he should be safe as houses.
And
you would hope.
really nice fixture to start
Correct.
as well.
Yep. Leonardo Lombard I've got and Dev Robinson as well.
Yep.
Rounding out the forward line. And in flex, you'll love this. I've got Darcy Parish in there at the moment. So,
Wow.
well, obviously, we'll see how we go. But I've got 330 odd there. So if I need to go down to someone in, around 200 or even just get, the next best rookie, then I'll have a bit of money in the bank to play with.
The Xavier Taylor type, perhaps at the D's. Looks like he's going to be
he's in my
thereabouts
flex at
around
the
one,
moment.
who's not on your team at the moment. But
Yep.
looks like he'd be a good option as well.
Yep. So yeah, that's it. That's my team.
Nice. Who are your biggest fades? So I'm just looking at ownership numbers now.
Well, I mean, I'm fading Bont. I'm fading Dacos. I don't know.
Was Coleman in there?
Coleman's here. Yeah. Yeah. So
No Nazire.
known as Zaya. Yeah.
Which is an interesting one.
Yeah, I don't like spending north of 600 for defenders. They always find a way to get back
He's
to
top
the
price,
500.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, range.
just based on what he put out last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate here, though. He's a midfielder
Yeah.
in a defensive slot. Does that change your mind? Like, when you say we don't pay up 600k, usually I go, Whitfield, Jack Sinclair.
Yep.
Like the guys in the past that have been those traditional halfbacks that might have 35 every week and then have a week where they have 15 touches and drop an 80 and plummet in price.
Yep.
Is Nazire cut from that same cloth, do you think?
Look, to be honest, mate, it's risky. It's risky not picking him.
Yeah.
Because he's shown us what he can do, and obviously he can just win a game, off the bat, and somehow not get 3 Brownlow votes. We won't go there.
The Jack Whitey game.
Yeah, but look, I think there's still a little bit of unknown with him. So obviously, he's a big dog now.
Yeah.
In the AFL, and a bit more attention might come and that kind of thing. So I just at peak price, I just want to have a look at him, and I'll just get him, as soon as I can. And if that's a bit cheaper, great. If not, I'll pay up.
Yeah.
His price fluctuated as well last year. Like started 540k, got up to 577, and then and that was at round 7, and then by his buy round in round 13, he was 507. So that just shows like it's just gonna take one bad game, and you'll be able to pick him up in 3 weeks for a fraction of what it would cost otherwise. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I think he's absolutely priced at his max at the moment, and same with Bont. Really, like I can't see him being 700k after 4 games. Like that just won't happen. Like you'd have to score like 150 every week to kind of maintain that price once you factor in all the other scores that are kind of floating through the way they do the pricing. So yeah.
You were pretty big on fading Sheasel last year, weren't you? At his top price.
Yeah,
and then got sucked in the practice match.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we all? Like, he had like 40 touches or something. Hard to say no when he does that, but there is a discussion with Sheasel again. Like the forward line. I mean, we are pretty skinny on the forwards to start with this year, and the buys don't help. A lot of the top guys from last year, like your Sam Darcy's and stuff, who would be more appealing picks, have buys to start this year. So, yeah, there's an argument maybe to say again, he's at his top price, Sheasel, and there's not a lot of meat on the bone there in terms of looking for value. But I mean, he's going to be F1 or F2, probably competing with Petrarca, and then it's daylight third really for the top dog forwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy to pay up for Sheasel just because we don't really have many other options there.
Yeah. Who's someone that you wish was in your team right now?
Oh, look, there isn't anyone really, to be honest. Like, that will come, in upgrade season.
Yeah.
You'll be like, all right, geez, I really like the look of this guy. I need to get him in. Look, I can't really pick anyone, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying it's a perfect team or anything, but like...
You got to start somewhere.
You
can't pick everyone.
Right.
You can't pick everyone.
And
That's the main thing.
I think the good thing, there's so many options. Like, this year, like primo wise. I think we're going to have choices come upgrade seasons. Like which guy do I take? Which direction do I go?
Yeah.
There might not be anything in it, and these 50-50 calls obviously shape our season. So,
which is a byproduct of these early buys. When in previous years you go, Nick Dacos is the first, second, third best player in the league. Everyone's going to pick him. Now it's like, oh, he's got an early buy. Yeah. Do you pick him? Do you look somewhere else?
He's got an early buy. He's got a tag risk in round 4 or whatever. Like, So, definitely fading him last year was the right play. Yeah.
Nice one. Part 3 is the community questions. So I've waded my way into Discord this afternoon. Got there eventually. Every week we'll put a call into the Discord chat for questions each week for the podcast. A couple have come from Brendan this week. Bandit, I'll come to you first. How many rookies are you looking at starting on field? So for the sake of the discussion, we'll say Dersma price or under.
Yep. So at the moment I've got 2 in defence, 4 in the mids, and 3 in the forwards. And my flex is another primo, so that's what, like 9 or 8 or 9, something like that.
You got Luke Jackson in your flex, don't you?
Yeah, I do have Luke Jackson in flex at the moment. I think that's about right. I think you wouldn't want any. I think history sort of shows like you kind of want about 12 primos to start with, or if you're counting a few mid prices and stuff like that, 12, 13 is probably the right amount and it's the right balance. Because realistically, like as Nico said, and as you kind of said before, Dill, like some of these rookies will drop off, some of them won't play, some of them will play the first month and then get injured or get dropped because they're just not coping with the demands of AFL footy early on. So I wouldn't want to sort of cut too deep at the top and have more rookies on field, because reality and history sort of shows that we just don't get that sort of big wave of rookies at the start like we used to, like before we had the sub rule and stuff like that. Like we used to get a really good bunch at the start. And that's kind of, I feel like the AFL's kind of moved away from that a little bit, where they kind of manage these guys a bit more. They throw them in for a month and they take them out, give them a bit of a break, send them back to the VFL, give them a bit of confidence if they've been, been pushed to the fringes of the AFL side a little bit. They send them back to the 2 so they can get some confidence under their belt and feel like they're, really contributing and developing. So, I think that's the right mix.
Yeah. Nico, how many did you have?
Gee whiz.
I've got 10 at the moment, which is including. I've got 10, but I go Jagger Smith. I'm not going to count as a rookie. Like he's going to play well in my head.
Yeah.
Filippo is another one. I think he's going to play one. No, I'm not counting Kitty.
Okay. This is on field.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some locks, aren't there? Like Filippo's a lock.
Yeah,
Jagger Smith's a lock.
Yeah.
I'd say like someone like Gibcus is pretty well locked. If he's fit, he's probably playing round 1.
Yeah.
I think most people will start him. Yeah. So and Todd Marshall's probably another one as well, who we touched on before, who's had a role change at Port and should probably play every game as well if he's fit. So there are a few. Like I think I had 9 or 10, but there's probably 4 or 5 guys who everyone's going to have. If you're serious. So
probably another question to revisit post practice games, I think.
Yep.
We'll know a little bit more about the cheapies then. Another one from Brendan Niko. What do you need to see from the likes of Connor McDonald, Sam Lawler, Tanner Bruin, like some of these mid-price forwards, for you to pick them?
There's quite a bit of chatter about CMAC, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you're the Hawthorn expert, but I mean, I mucked around and said to him, I need to see plenty, in the chat in Discord, but I think it's true. I think we'd have to just see something we really haven't seen before from these guys to really go there. I think they're all a pass at this stage, and unless something drastic happens to change our mind, I think no for me.
Yeah, Bandit, you're a Hawthorn nuffy like me. What would McDonald have to do in the unofficial practice match and then the Amy game, which is I think a couple of weeks away? What would he need to produce in that game for you to go, he's an actual genuine option at F3, F4?
Jeez, I mean, he'd have to have like 70-80% CPAs, I reckon. And even then, I don't think I could pick him with any confidence. I mean, this is a guy who's played I think he's played more than 100 AFL games now. Never averaged more than 80, I think, across the season in Supercoach. I think we sort of know what he is from an exposed point of view, like he's always just going to be, and there's no disrespect to him at all, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's just going to be that sort of B grade player who's not.
Half forward.
Yeah, the
Plays
half
man in,
forward guy
yeah.
who can sort of spin into the mids, like I said before, with like a Rayner De Goey type, and he's probably not even at that level either.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to be a bit of a gap filler when other guys are either injured or not in form, and they just want to throw a different look at the opposition. He's probably going to step into that role. So I just don't see him, pushing that average to like 95 and being a knockout pick. Like I can't see it happen.
Yeah.
How long is Will Day out for?
Oh, till the bye, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
a
at
long
least
time.
mid-season, I
I
think.
feel like
Four
we would've-
months, I think, was
Yeah.
was the starting point. But yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like we would have seen with McDonald, though, prior to now, if it was going to happen. Like, he's played, give or take, 100 games.
he's not a young guy anymore. He's
Yeah.
like he'd be
Yeah.
You would've
25
seen-
now, probably.
Yeah,
Like he's
20 minutes
should be at his
ball.
peak,
Yeah.
really, from an AFL point of view. Like,
Will Day, that's not new. Like, he's missed time since he's been in the system. They pushed Josh Ward ahead of him. Cam McKenzie's had time in there in the past. Even Sam Butler, late in the year, was playing a bit further up the ground. I would... Geez, he'd have to have, 30 plus and kick two.
I couldn't
think
pick him.
about it.
Even if he had 30 and kick two,
Yeah.
I still wouldn't pick him.
Yeah.
No.
Cool. Anything else we want to touch on before we wrap things up?
No, I don't think so.
No,
That's a solid
yeah,
debut, I
if
reckon, in
you-
the
yeah.
studio.
If you've tuned in and wondering why we're not talking about Primos, it's because we did that last week
Yep.
and go and listen to the audio. But yeah, I think did pretty well there. It's a good space we found. So thanks to Tim and onwards and upwards.
Origin week this week.
Origin.
It'll be interesting. Already seen Geelong
B
do
grade state
a
Origin.
Swifty and
Yeah.
pull Cameron out. Surprised they didn't do it an hour before the game, but
I wonder how many
be very on
Supercoach
brand for them.
reactions we'll get from that. If someone has a day out, how many things on the Twitter timeline we see, you got to pick Sam Darcy kick 6, you got to pick Sam Darcy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
wanted to go
wonder
and
if there'll
touch.
be any
Wanted
of
to go
that.
and touch some grass. I think if you're buying into the
Ready
Origin,
into the Origin.
the Origin performances, that'll have the intensity of an Auss kick game. I reckon.
Yeah, imagine getting injured in that.
Oh,
and then going
yeah.
back to your club and you're missing 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, won't take much for it to get the fans offside if something like that does happen. Hopefully it doesn't. We hope it doesn't.
fingers
But
crossed,
if something like that were to happen, I'm not sure the fans would kind of gravitate towards it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.